Hello everybody, my name is Curtis, and this is going to be an NG Plus tutorial based off of the beginner route on the BFBB website. If you're unfamiliar with what this category is, it's the same rules as any percent, except you are allowed to use 2 cheat codes at the start of the run to unlock the bubble bowl and the cruise bubble. So you can use cruise boosting throughout the entire run, and there is no backtracking. Or virtually no backtracking. I would highly suggest that if you do not know how to cruise boost right now, I would recommend learning that before learning the route for NG+, because cruise boosting is a really major part of this category. You don't need to be cruise boosting everywhere like you see top runners doing in this category. It's really helpful for a lot of areas. And it saves a lot of time, obviously, if you can do it. I'm going to link in the description of this video Shift's any percent beginner tutorial, because he explains cruise boosting and a lot of similar tricks to this category in that tutorial. I'm also going to be linking my own personal cruise boosting tutorial that I made, because I think that's the best way that I can explain cruise boosting verbally in a video. So I'm not going to be going over that in this tutorial. I'm assuming that you already know how to cruise boost. If you have any questions about tricks in this run or the routing or anything in particular, you can DM me on Discord. I'm going to put my Discord tag in the description. Or you can send a message in the BFBB public Discord server, and people will be willing to help you out there. I'll also put a link to that in the Discord. The link to that Discord's also on, or I'm going to put a link to that in the description. The link to the Discord is also on speedrun.com if you search for this game. If you'd like to view this route in like a written form, go to bfbb.site. I'll also link that in the description. Go to the speedrunning tab at the top and click on tutorials, and then go to NG+. This will be the beginner route tutorial if you wish to view it in a written format. The splits that I'm using right here are also going to be on the website attached to this route if you want to use these splits. Once you have the splits downloaded, you simply open up Live Split, right click, go to Open Splits, choose From File, and then find where the split's downloaded, and you can use these splits straight away. And without further ado, we're going to start. If you plan on learning this route like in segments, like coming back after taking breaks, I would recommend starting with a save file on like a practice attempt and following along with the guide. But if not, then timing starts when you select No on the autosave preference. So you mash through cutscenes with A and Y in this game if you want, or just mash A. So as soon as you start the run, pause and go to options. And you need to hold down both of the triggers. If you're playing on PS2, I believe you have to hold down all 4 of your triggers. I don't remember exactly. But here we're going to input the 2 cheat codes of this run. A lot of top runners do this with 2 thumbs to make it faster, or like 2 fingers or whatever. You can do this with just 1 thumb if you're fast enough, but the code for unlocking the bubble bowl is going to be X, Y, Y, X, Y, X, Y, X, X, Y, Y.
It's almost too pretty to break.
And you should hear that sound effect.
Almost.
And the code for the cruise bubble is exactly the opposite. Y, X, Y, X, Y, Y, X, X. And now you'll see we have both the powers. Alright, so now we're going to go into the kitchen. We need to get 50 shiny objects to unlock the door for the first spatula. You want to bowl here. Bowling into cutscenes and stuff like that, and loading zones, gates, things of that nature, generally saves time if you can do them. It's not strictly necessary, but it saves around half a second each time you do it. Like right there, obviously that's much faster than just walking into that cutscene and then walking into the door. And I guess I should explain. The reason why that saves time is because you get acceleration at the start of the bowl, but as the bowl ends, you have this end lag where you slow down. But if you bowl into like a cutscene or like a gate where you can press R to go to another level, it saves time because you get the startup speed, but you don't get the end lag. Okay, so right here we're going to disable the hand. Just smash A through that to activate the text box. You can get a first frame bowl there called a bowl boost to save some time, but you don't really have to go for that. It's just a small thing. So if you don't know what that glitch does, basically when you enter a new area while the hand is still on screen, the hand is disabled when you're in the next area. So you can go into out of bounds triggers, so like the one for the spatula we're about to get, but you cannot go on this sand for more than like 2 seconds, or else the hand is going to grab you and you have to disable it again. If you are learning this run in segments, or just practicing in general, it's important to note that the hand gets enabled again when you restart your console. So every time you start up your console, you have to go disable the hand. Pretty important. So here, you want a cruise boost in this segment, but it's not strictly necessary, it just saves time. You can do it off of Squidward right here, if you want. If you don't want to do it there, you can come down to this surface right here and do it. You can go to this one and do it. I think this one probably works. There's a lot of places around here you can cruise boost. But yeah, the basic idea is you want to get across here. We're going to get a sock and then a spatula over here. You want to get this sock, jump in the pit, get the spatula. Pretty easy. And then when you respawn, you want to pause the game. You can pause during this animation because we drowned into the spatula. If you just collect a spatula normally, like you saw in the closet earlier when we were in the pineapple, if you just collect a spatula normally, you can't pause during that animation. But yeah, since you drowned, you can just pause right away. You don't have to wait. So for this section, you don't necessarily have to cruise boost, but it saves having to hit this button and go all the way up around and watch a cutscene, all that stuff. So you want to come over to this wall and cruise boost right here, because it doesn't really look like it from this side. It looks kind of rounded off, but this is actually a flat surface that you can cruise boost on. Okay, so once you have a good enough speed cruise boost, you want to come over here, space, double jump, spin, slam. If you fall down here, there is a backup. If you fall in the sand, just jump up like this, bash. And you want to get up here. And then once you're up on this rock right here, you can bash up. Don't get hit by that hammer bot. You can jump. You can cut that corner if you want, but this is safer. So once you're up here, just make some jumps, jump over the rock, and mash the bash button, and we need this sock. So if you're unaware of what socks and spatulas and stuff like that do, we need 75 spatulas to beat the game to get into the final boss. And if you collect 10 socks, you can trade them to Patrick later on, 10 socks for 1 spatula. In this route, we're going to be collecting 30 socks because we need 3 spatulas from them. So you just want to space, double jump, spin, slam over to that trampoline right there. Come up here to the fountain. This can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to controlling your cruise boost, but you just need that sock. And then you can space a jump over here. And get this spatula. So Jellyfish Rock is pretty simple. So let's advance on. One thing I will note, you can just hit this duplicator and then walk away, let it explode and come back, hit the button. If you don't know how to do this short hop spin thing right here. But yeah, that's pretty basic. it's not necessarily required to do the fast strat there. So you want to get a cruise boost here. This wall right here is the easiest spot. You can also do it on this box right here, but it's kind of rounded a little bit in the center, so I don't really like this box. You can also do it on the flap side of this box, but other boxes throughout the game, the flap side might not necessarily work. But on this one you can. So yeah, if you prefer doing it there, you can. But either way, you just want to get a cruise boost and slide on down. When you're on slides, you generally want to be jumping as much as possible. Go to the right here to get a sock. Around that corner, I don't like jumping, just because it's kind of weird. Make sure you can make this jump to get this sock. There's going to be backup socks later on if you miss a sock somewhere. I'll definitely go over those when we get to those, but yeah, make that jump for the sock. So right here, there's a cutscene trigger that'll trigger if you go too far forward here. And the cutscene trigger also extends into the water on the left there a little bit. So the goal here is that we want to avoid the trigger. So I like using these red shiny objects in front of me as a visual cue for this. You just want to jump around to the side here. If you ledge grab here, it's not a big deal, but you can skip the ledge grab. You just want to make your way up here, spin, to get rid of your downwards momentum. That's a mechanic that I didn't really talk about yet. When you have a cruise boost and you land on the ground from a jump, you can have your downwards momentum stored when you otherwise wouldn't have stored it. Like if you didn't have a cruise boost, then your downwards momentum would reset when you touch the ground. But that's not how it works with a cruise boost. It stores it. But if you do a spin, it resets your downwards momentum. So that's pretty important for jumps like these. You don't necessarily need to do it, it just helps here. It doesn't really lose time. So you can either go around the right side of the tree, like on that side, or you can go around the left side. Left side is a little easier, but a little slower. So you just want to jump across here. Pretty easy if you have a fast enough cruise boost. Come up here. You just need to like go around here into Patrick's radius and he'll automatically talk to you, give you the spatula. Pretty simple. So jump down here, grab the melon, throw it at this button. You can just hit that button, but it's really precise. You have to like stand on top of it. Yeah, that button, the areas around here like the bridge and the button like to just push you off. Like you can't stand on every part. So just hitting the button without the melon's kind of precise, and I don't recommend it to newer players. So yeah, you just want to come over here, go to the bus stop, switch to SpongeBob, get a cruise boost. And you want to make a jump out of bounds this way. You can jump out of bounds from other spots, and it's a little bit easier. Like you can jump to these rocks, and they're a little closer if you have trouble making jumps like those, but yeah. So now we're just going to be going underneath the caves at this point. A lot faster than just going through the caves. I like to mess around when I'm going under here, but doing stuff like this loses frames if you care about that kind of stuff. So we need to do a ledge grab clip to get back in bounds right here. Shift teaches how to do this in his tutorial if you haven't already seen that. He has timestamps to Jellyfish Fields 2 in his description of his video, if you're unfamiliar. But I'm gonna just show how I do this with cruise boosting. Jump to the left, and then you kind of want to like stay in place a little bit. So like as you're turning around, you want to like kind of stay in place as you're jumping to the right. And then kind of like let yourself drift forward into the ledge. That's how I do it. You can just get rid of your cruise boost and do it if that's easier. You can do this part without having a cruise boost, it just makes it faster to have one. I'm not going over rock skip in this tutorial because it only saves 5 seconds and it's really hard. So you just want to make your way over here. Make sure you clear these text boxes with A, or whatever your jump button is on your console. Because getting rid of your cruise boost here is not a great feeling. Oh, I missed that. You want to jump from a little farther forward than I did. But yeah, if you need to get another cruise boost, you can use the checkpoint, but that's kind of precise. So if you're new, I recommend coming back over this box and doing it here. So if you don't want to jump around the gate here, I'll show what the other option is in a second. But yeah, you just want to jump over here, jump into the spatula. Angle your camera so you drift into the gate and not off the edge. Okay, and now at this point you can spin to get rid of downwards momentum if you want. So I recommend the easiest way to do this, you need to bash around this gate here. So you can do a bash jump slam if you want, or you can just do a bash jump if you find that easier. So the alternative way of doing this, you just get rid of your cruise boost like down here, and you want to shoot a cruise bubble at this button. And then you can go over there and you can get the spatula and come back this way. So we're going to move on into Jellyfish Lake. So in this route, we need to do Drain the Lake. So my recommendation is as soon as you go into the level, just warp to canyons and mesas. Because you'll spawn as Patrick if you do that. So you can jump up here, and we're going to jump down to that fountain over there. So this is kind of precise jump spacing, if you're not used to this. Okay, I jumped too late off the platform. If you don't want to do it this way, you can just go around to the left, but I want to show the faster way of doing this. Yeah, you can land on the fountain. It's a lot more lenient than what it looks. Like, yeah, I can be like standing off of it pretty much, and yeah. So this fountain's pretty lenient. Then you just want to jump into the arena, and we're gonna do the challenge. In case you're curious, throwing robots at the fountains is the only way to do this challenge. You can't do this as SpongeBob with the cruise bubble, or the bubble bowl, like you can in Dehydrated, which is pretty dumb. Oh, it already worked, okay. This challenge is kind of RNG based, but the RNG is not too severe most of the time if you're good at reacting to it. So if you're on Xbox or Xbox 360, you just want to pause the game, warp to Drain the Lake. If you're not, then turn around and walk back. But if you're doing this, make sure that you walk through the middle and talk to Mrs. Puff. Because if you don't do that, if you try and be cool and like jump around the side to avoid the text box, as soon as you switch characters right here, the game will soft lock if you do that. So make sure you talk to Puff as Patrick and get that text box. Alright, but anyway, like I said, if you're on Xbox or Xbox 360, you would just warp to Drain the Lake. You would spawn as Patrick and you have to come back, switch characters. So here, this wall is where you want to cruise boost. So you can do a bash here, and as you see, you want to land on this rock. A lot of people have trouble with this bash because they're aiming to the right, and there's nothing right here for you to land on. You're landing on the rock to the left, right here, and then you just want to jump up. Really simple. I didn't mean a ledge grab, but that's fine. This is just some basic platforming. This platforming right here is pretty fun to get good at. Make sure you get the sock right here, by the way. You can bash up right here. I'm not sure what Shifts teaches in his beginner tutorial, but my recommendation as a new player is to just come up this way. jump across here, bowl away your cruise boost. Easiest way to do this. You can keep your cruise boost here. You can also go down like that way and do wall jumps to get up, but then you have the tartar bots up here to deal with, and that can get kind of annoying. So yeah, the easiest way to do that is to just go up the teeter-totter. And now we're going to defeat King Jellyfish. So yeah, just skip that cutscene and just shoot 3 cruise bubbles at him. Pretty easy. Alright, then make your way down here. Okay, so you want to press the bowl button to bowl onto the slide. I pressed it too late, so I didn't get it, but bowling onto slides is nice because it puts you at max acceleration right away. Make sure you get that sock, by the way. It's an important sock to not forget. Then once you're at the end, just pause the game, warp to the first spatula. So this was part 1. I'm going to be separating this tutorial by level. So this was Jellyfish Fields. You should have 9 spatulas and 7 socks at the end of this segment. And then once you're done, we'll be going to Bikini Bottom next. So pause the game and go up to Bikini Bottom and just warp to on top of the pineapple.